Hello, Sarah here. In today's speaker interview, I am joined by Thomas Ockens. He is a hypnotist and martial artist, and he's currently in Malaysia. Welcome, Thomas. Nice to have you here.
Thank you, Sarah. Thanks for having me. Hello.
That's right. So it's your first time speaking at the convention. That's exciting.
It is. It's actually the fault of a presenter of last year who finished his presentation with, when an opportunity comes up, just say yes and figure out how to do it later.
Nice. Yeah. And here you are.
Indeed.
So your presentation is called The Path of the Peaceful Practitioner. I'm really curious about the term Peaceful Practitioner, and I wondered if you could explain that a little bit.
This is also perfectly accessible for violent practitioners, but the title is a reference to a book, The Path of the Peaceful Warrior, which details the journey of somebody who essentially learns to fight in order to not have to fight. And I just thought it was, if you were in martial arts circles, you would have heard that title before. And if not, maybe you just like it for the alliteration in there.
Yeah, nice. So your presentation looks at the martial arts belt system. So first off, can you tell us a little bit about your background in martial arts?
Yes, I'm a tall and lanky guy, so I started out with striking martial arts where I could kick and punch the guy opposite me. And it turns out that it's surprisingly hard on the joints. So at some point I switched to ground fighting, to wrestling like submission wrestling and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, which, as long as you know when to submit, is relatively light on the joints. And I noticed that there is a structure to many things that I do. I have a couple of very rather complex interests, including hypnosis, including martial arts, including magic, as do many of the attendees of the UKHC,
Sure.
and computer security. And all of these seem to share a couple of things. They seem to be misrepresented a lot when you have any Hollywood movies on hacking, on hypnosis, on martial arts. You'll have, as you know. But at the same time, they also seem to have a very complex skill set that somebody would need to acquire. And some of these pursuits have a structured framework for doing this and making sure that the practitioner progresses along a certain set of skills.
Okay.
And some do not. And I thought, and I think, that there's a lot of value in just being able to use this as a metaphor in the hypnosis kind of definition.
Yeah.
For progression.
Yeah. Nice. So what does this kind of martial arts belt system bring to change work? How does it benefit it?
It benefits it in as much as the person who is willing to engage with this will see where a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner would be expected to stand and what he would be expected to understand at the stage of a white belt, a blue belt, purple, brown, and finally, of course, the black belt.
Okay.
He would also, and she would also, gain, of course, hopefully, the insight when to depart from that model, because it doesn't really apply. But I have been reaching out to absolute giants of our profession, some of which will be presenting at the convention, absolute giants in the martial arts and combat sports world, absolute giants in the magic community, and have asked them for a couple of insights into how they see people progressing. And it is stunning how everybody of these trainers to world champions, world-class master hypnotists, how everybody in the end arrives at the same kind of conclusion that I hope to share.
Ah, excellent. And what kind of effect has adopting this metaphor had on you as a practitioner?
Well, for me, it has two effects. One effect is that I know, at least in a cerebral sense, what mastery looks like. And I recognize it when I see it, which is nice, I believe.
Yeah.
And I also know what to strive for. And I do know that I have attained mastery in my own framework, worldview, in certain aspects of things that I'm doing. And in other aspects, I very obviously haven't. And it's very nice then to be able to just step back, quickly look at the situation and the skill set I possess and which phase I'm in, and just which is okay. Enjoy that, but also know what the next phase is going to be like, what it's going to look like, and the things that I will be doing then instead.
Yeah, okay. So it's about kind of a structured skill development throughout the practice or therapist practice, so that you can see where your skills lie, where there might be a deficit, and helping to kind of develop your understanding of the subject.
Exactly. One example would be usually in the blue belt phase, just to give you a taste without giving too much away, I hope. In the blue belt phase, many combat sport athletes will be in a skills acquisition phase or technique acquisition phase, where they will buy DVD after DVD after DVD. And there are DVDs out there with the name of 50 arm bars from Mount, which will give you 50 ways of breaking a man's arm or woman's arm from a certain position. And I'm pretty sure you have come across somebody's advertisement promising to sell you 100 inductions, 50 speed inductions, or whatever that is. And I've seen that we have Sean Michael Andrews at the UKHC, or you have him, who does a deep dive into the Ellman induction, which I believe is brilliant. Just 1 hour with somebody who knows his thing to talk and really, really take it apart and give you all the components. Yeah. And of course, you have James Brown, who says inductions are meaningless. You need to understand other things. And this is the path that the blue belt needs to take to become a purple. Is he needs to look at these 50 arm bars he just bought, break them down like Sean Michael Andrews does the Ellman, and then understand in a way that I believe James Brown will be presenting, understand what makes it work, so that, to quote James Brown, create inductions on the fly, know why they work, create an arm lock on the fly by controlling certain aspects of the other person's architecture, and know why he's having success with it.
Yeah, sounds good. So it sounds like that this kind of process fits well with the reflective practice and supervision that a therapist would ordinarily be undertaking as well.
That would be amazing. And it's also, even though there should be a curriculum, and I absolutely agree with that. Again, I'm tall and lanky. Certain body types, when I go and compete, have huge problems with my body type. And I have huge problems with certain body types. So even though a technique may work really well for me, I might not be able to teach it to somebody with a completely different outlook on diet, for example. And the same thing, I believe, should hold true for anybody trying or working to further another practitioner's skill set.
Yeah. No, it sounds really interesting. I think that, as you say, the martial arts and the hypnosis field, they both kind of marry up quite nicely in lots of different ways there. So, yeah, I think it will be really interesting to people that are there. So for those who haven't got tickets yet for the convention, I recommend getting over to the website soon at ukhypnosisconvention.co.uk. Thomas is going to be speaking on Saturday at 4 p.m. in the Richmond room. So that's a really good spot. Saturday is looking to be very popular at the moment. It'd be nice to kind of actually meet you in person. I know we missed each other last year. So yeah, it's been nice speaking with you. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Sarah. I really appreciate the opportunity to demystify the somewhat, as you pointed out, esoteric title and give people a little bit of a taste of what's coming. Thank you.
Definitely, yeah. Pull a few more people in.
That'd be good.
Excellent. All right, well, I look forward to seeing you in November then.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.